as I mentioned earlier, we're not raised to be compassionate to ourselves. We're raised to be compassionate to others. So many of us, most of us actually, have doubts about self-compassion. Is this real? Will this really work? Or even misconceptions or misunderstandings about self-compassion. And one of the biggest doubts that people have about self-compassion is that it will make them unmotivated. It will make them, just happy lying on the couch, watching Netflix, eating chocolate all day long. And what we know actually from research is that people who are self-compassionate are actually more motivated because they know that if they fail, if they start something new, if they move outside of their comfort zone and try hard to achieve something and they fail, that they're not going to beat themselves up. They're not going to be so harsh to themselves, that they will accept their failure and they'll move on. So these are a couple of studies that were done that demonstrated this, that those with greater self-compassion were actually more motivated to improve what they had seen in themselves as personal weaknesses. They tend to procrastinate less, and they're more likely to move outside of their comfort zone. And this last study is one that we did at University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill with teens. What we saw with teens was that those who are more self-compassionate were more likely to embrace new experiences and stretch themselves beyond their comfort zones to try new things. Another doubt that people have about self-compassion is that it's like self-pity or being selfish. We know it's different than self-pity because of the common humanity element. So in other words, people who are self-compassionate don't say necessarily, oh, poor me, I'm struggling so much. They might say, oh, I'm struggling, this is hard. But this is part of being human, and you're struggling also, and so is everyone else, right? This is part of the human experience. Research has also demonstrated that those people who are more self-compassionate are actually more likely to show concern for others, to be compassionate to others, that they're more ready to forgive others, and they're rated by their partners as being more caring and supportive. And some people think that when you're self-compassionate, you're being self-indulgent. But being self-compassionate is like reparenting yourself in a way. So in other words, it's like the good parent, the healthy parent who says to their child, I'm not going to feed you sweets all day long. I'm not going to do that because that's not good for you. It's not good for you to eat desserts all day long. I might give you some desserts, but I'm also going to give you fruit and vegetables and healthy food. So the same goes for ourselves. We do what's best for ourselves when we're self-compassionate. We do what's healthy for ourselves in the long run. So research also has demonstrated this, that those who are high in self-compassion are more likely to exercise, to stick to their diet. They're more likely to seek medical help when it's necessary. And they treat themselves as in healthy ways in this regard. And then there are those who are afraid that self-compassion is weak, that strong people aren't self-compassionate, We also know that this isn't true. In fact, Kristen Neff just published a book on fierce self-compassion and how self-compassion is also about protecting yourself and it's motivating and it's about standing up for yourself when necessary and fighting for what you believe in. So there's a fierce side of self-compassion, a very important fierce side. There's a tender side of self-compassion and a fierce side. We call this the yin and yang of self-compassion. And research has shown that those who are higher in self-compassion are better able to cope with trauma, with divorce, with chronic pain, with academic trouble at school, and with child maltreatment. So those people who are higher in self-compassion are better able to deal with these kinds of challenges that they encounter in life. And then another doubt that people have about self-compassion is that it's a form of making excuses or letting yourself off the hook. And what we know from research is that people who are more self-compassionate are actually take more responsibility for their mistakes and for places where they have messed up, because they know it doesn't mean that they are a terrible person. So they're willing to step in and say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I will correct my mistake. I will do what's necessary to amend what I have done, because they know it means that they're not a horrible person. They know it means that they're a good person who made a mistake. And there's a big difference here, which I'm sure that you can recognize. And again, another research study showed that they're more likely to apologize when they've offended someone. So the same kind of reasoning goes here. They're more willing to step in and apologize because they know it doesn't mean that they're overall a horrible person